Yo, what's going on, y'all? Your boy Justin Henry back in the building, baby. Right here on the Justin Henry Show, J-Hen Fantasy. Y'all already know what it is, man. Listen, appreciate y'all here for the first time. Don't make it the last time. And obviously, I got a big update that I got to make, man. It's been a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to being on this platform, on this show on a daily basis. I just need to turn this light down real quick. Hold on a second. Let me turn this light down real quick, bro. The setup look a little different, right? The setup look a little different. I'm trying to get the lighting right. We're going to see what it look like. We're going to see what it look. Hold on a second, bro. How y'all doing, chat? But listen, a big update from me. Obviously, my background has changed. You see the lights on me. I don't got everything all worked out, but I am going to be changing locations. That's right. I'll be moving. So bear with me here over the next couple weeks. Currently, I'm in very sunny Arizona where it's 105 today. 105. Damn. And I'll be actually taking a quick detour in between my next location. So I'll be going to Europe. Yeah, that's right. International J-Hen is here, baby. And so J-Hen Fantasy will also be overseas. So in the meantime, you might even see me at a game in Spain. It's going to be an exciting journey for me personally, but I wanted you guys to know that there is going to be content still. It might be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be exactly the same type of a pace that we were at to start the season, at least for the next 2 weeks. Once I get overseas, everything will be a lot easier to dial in. But for now, the next week or two, just bear with me. All right. And I'm even going to make some changes on the J-Hen Fantasy site. If you guys have questions at all about the Europe part of this thing, being at some of the games, feel free to ask away. But as far as the content on J-Hen Fantasy, I'm going to make it all free. Everything is going to be free. If you paid for the annual pass, I'll try to find a way to make it right for you. I think I'm just going to give you another year for free once we re-up this thing starting in the spring. So there's going to be fantasy basketball content coming very soon. But everything, my bets, everything, it's all going to be free just because I want you guys to kind of bear with me on some of the inconsistencies that I'm going to be having over the next couple months. So if you haven't been on the J-Hen Fantasy site, head over there. We got some articles from Tyler Health on there. You're going to have content from me on there. But from moving forward, I'm going to make everything free on the site. All right. As far as the YouTube and stuff, I'm going to keep it the same. So people who want to comment, I just don't know how frequently I'm going to be on live until about a week from now. All right. So I just want to get everybody out there as well. I know fantasy has been crazy, especially it's only been 3 weeks. So let's remember that it's not time to panic on a lot of players, but there are some we do got to panic on. So let me get to some questions. The game by game, I can go over specific games. I want to try to do that here during this live, go over some of the games. But I really want to talk a lot of you guys off the ledge because I think there's a lot of information out there that's telling people to panic, sell players, get rid of players, overhyping again. And I just want to clear the air on where I think of some players, right? Like, obviously, Omarion Hampton's value has changed. We got to talk about it. Trey Benson's value has changed. We got to talk about it. George Pickens' value has changed. We got to talk about it. There's a number of players whose values have changed here, especially with quarterbacks going down. We have a lot of wide receivers and running backs going down. So for me, let me get to some of these questions real quick. And then what I'm going to do is go over some of my thoughts just in general of the team so we can go kind of recap like, it's 3 weeks in. What do I think rest of the season for these guys? All right. Grant Santo, what is popping, man? He said, what up, J-Hen? Hope all is well. Everything is well, man. Everything's great. And like I said, I want to get back to doing a lot more fantasy stuff for you guys. I'm in between moves, man. So just like I said, literally out of my house last week, we were traveling in Reno, Nevada, went to Vegas for a second. We were here in Phoenix, Arizona. And then next week, I'll be heading overseas. So my team is fried. You got Dak, Jacobs, Kamara, Marv, BTJ, Jawan Johnson, and Waddle. I don't think you're fried. That's not the right word, but I do think you need some things to start happening. If you have 1 win right now, 2 wins right now, or 3 wins, obviously, like it's not time to panic. If you have 0 wins right now, it's time to find a way, okay, how can I secure 2 wins over the next 3 weeks? That's literally how I take this thing. So take it on a 3-week journey because if you're 0-6, chances are it's going to be a tough struggle for you to make the playoffs. But if you're 2-4, 3-3, you have a really good shot of making, good opportunity still. I would say I wouldn't start panicking on my team until about week 6. If you're 0-3, it's time to get a win, though. Whatever you got to do to get a win, even if that's making some controversial trades. What up, Jay? And hope the move is going smoothly. It is going smoothly. Thank you, Leopard Print. Appreciate you. But yeah, this is it's a change for me. Obviously, a change for you guys. I wish I could be on a little bit more. It's just I got a lot of shit going on, bro. So my goal is to get you guys even more info here over the next couple of weeks. Back to normal schedule by week 6 at the latest. Like week 6, I want to be all content all the time. Right now, it's just, like I said, I'm going to be overseas with my family. I got to move I'm doing. So there's just a lot here in the meantime. There's still content out there. I've still been trying to put out content. It just hasn't been the frequency that typically we're used to. You said 0-3. You got Jaden Daniels, Brees, ETN, Marv, BTJ, CD McBride. You got Keon, Godwin. You see how bad I'm even bad with the names right now. Shit crazy. Godwin, Pacheco, Penix, Mixon, A.O. Manor. Who should I flex, add, or should I look to improve? Okay, so with this squad, I think 0-3 is the time to just evaluate, right? Like Daniels has been out. Brees, obviously, hasn't been the same since the first game. ETN has been a surprise, but we're seeing, kind of some of the resurgence or the taking over the work now of Bashal Tootin. I think right now you just have a lot of underperforming players and then injuries on top of that. You got CD, who's now banged up, out for 3 to 4 weeks. You got Pacheco, who's been underperforming. You just have a ton of underperforming players. But to be honest with you, there is a lot of just underperformance in general from offenses in the NFL. I saw something that came out that said this has been the lowest amount of yardage since 2005 in the league. So I wouldn't overly this isn't a thing where you need to just course correct overall in general. But what I am looking at is, okay, how can I just get a win coming up here? So you need to evaluate your buys here. Over the next couple of weeks, you need to try to be, if you can make moves and you can make trades, be active with your upcoming buys. I would say that. I wouldn't want to have a whole bunch of 4, 5, 6, 7s, 8s, whatever. I don't know the exact buy schedule. I wouldn't want to have a bunch of those. What I would be doing is looking to move some of those players. And if you're 0-3, CD got to go. CD got to go. You got to find a way to lock in a top performer here. CD got to go. Jaden Daniels, if he's out again this week, may have to go. I think he's supposed to be good for this week, but if he's out, he may have to go. Try to lock in some wins now. You can't wait on Joe Mixon. Like the players that most people wait on, unless he's just showing your IR spot, you don't have that affordability. So 0-3 is I got to find a way to win 2 games over the next 3 weeks. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to make the playoffs. No one try hard. What's good, bro? No one try hard. The Big Hen is back. Today's episode of deportation as we are going to Europe. Okay, I ain't getting deported, bro. I ain't never that. But yeah, just a change, a life change. I've never been overseas before. I've never this is a first for me. So I've been to I've gone on a cruise, but I've never been overseas. So this is a first for your boy. Start one, Worthy, Marv, Scatabo. Also thoughts on Marvin Harrison Jr. So starts and sits. I'll just be honest with you. I just did my normal process going through. I haven't had a chance to go through and individually rank players. So for me, Worthy coming back from the injury this week. You have Marv, who's been struggling Thursday night against Seattle, and then Cam Scatabo, who is going to take on a bigger workload now that Tyrone Tracy is going to be out for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I think for me, Scatabo is probably the safest out of these. I think Marv has a bounce back effort against the Seahawks on Thursday night. Not just saying that because I'm out here in AZ. But the one thing is Seattle has been very tough against the receiver position. So that's the only caution I have. And Marv has been struggling with confidence catching the football. So I think Scatabo is probably the safest here. Worthy provides a little bit of upside. I would go Marv over Scatabo if I was J-handing it, but Scatabo is very safe. And thoughts on Marv. I think he's a young player and could very easily turn things around. Obviously, I was a little too optimistic on Marv coming into the year. And that's one of the things with young players is you see the talent, you see the college production. It matters on the field. And I think that's why initially I'm so skeptical on rookies. When you talk about Hampton, you talk about Genty, it takes a lot of time for rookies to develop to see the speed of the game. I think we're seeing that with Marv, just like the confidence factor. You're not the same player who you were in college. You're not the guy who's, the alpha on the field. There's other very talented players, and you may not get the same type of production. So when it comes to Marv, maybe the climb is taking a lot longer than we thought to get to the NFL consistently wise at elite level. But I do think Marv at some point will figure this thing out. Marv, Brian Thomas, I'm not really I think those guys are talented. I don't think that sophomore slump. I don't think these guys just don't perform the rest of the year. It's more of a timing thing. When does the confidence come back? When do they start making plays for our fantasy team? So Marv, Probably more wide receiver 2 than I wanted him to be. I thought he would be wide receiver 1 level. I don't know if that happens at least the first half of the season. That's where I'm at with Marv. It's probably going to be a miss for me thinking he was top 12 unless something crazy happens at the back end of the season. All right, and then last one, I'll get back into member stuff here. Send Alec A. Manor and Pacheco for Judy and B-Rob. You got CMC. If you're looking to handcuff, not a bad decision there with Pacheco. Pacheco's been kind of mid. And then as far as Alec versus Judy, like Judy hasn't been what we've expected either. I think I would probably just take the chance on Judy and B-Rob, especially if you had CMC. You're not getting much out of Pacheco right now anyway. I'm not sure if ever. Like, it might be time to just stash Brashard Smith in case this team decides, like, hey, we're not getting enough juice out of this ground game. I think Brashard Smith's a player I wouldn't pick up right now, but just definitely want to keep an eye on. All right, I'm going to try to rapid fire through here so I can go through at least some of the games, some high-level stuff on the games. I'm not going to do a deep dive like I typically do, but I am going to go over some of the games and thoughts, especially the early stuff. My bench is ETN, Pittman, Ridley, Godwin, I'm assuming, Thornton, Fields, 0-3 start. Yeah, if you're 0-3, like I said, anybody that you're waiting on, you got time for like Mar, BTJ. Dak can probably go. You got to get wins now, especially no CD Lamb. Dak can probably go. You might want to trade Godwin if you can, just whatever you can, like Godwin and another piece. Godwin and Ridley. Try to like just level up a little bit. Go get like a T. Higgins, who I know, like T. Higgins is very questionable now, like wide receiver 2 on a weekly basis. So there's a ton of players right now. If you really like truly think about it, there's a ton of players struggling in fantasy right now. It's not just like, hey, if you drafted it pretty much like this, if you drafted a regular team, there's a chance that like the players aren't hitting what you thought they would. Like most players aren't. You got Puka who's playing at a crazy level. You have like a bunch of players who are playing at crazy levels, and then you have guys who are just like struggling. Like we've seen Derrick Henry has fumbled 3 straight games. Like we don't ever see that from him. So I don't know if you went kind of optimistic. I think this was a year like you have Mike Evans. He's got like, I don't know. There's this year, especially early in these first 3 weeks, there's been a lot of players. I'm just like, damn, like I just did not see it coming. Bench Brown for Judkins. Is that AJ Brown? Not after the week he had last week. You can't bench AJ Brown. Even going up against Tampa, you're not benching. Chase Brown? Chase Brown, another player, like you drafted him as a top 12 back, and it's like, are you benching him for Quinshon Judkins? With Jake Browning a quarterback now, it's just like this offense isn't the same. So, Jamar Chase is going to struggle at times this year with Jake Browning. Like it's going to be a tough fantasy early part of this year until we get some things figured out a little bit more. But yeah, I would still play Chase Brown. I'm not to the point yet where I would play Judkins, but I'm not mad if you do. Cincinnati this week got a matchup. Who do they play again? They play Denver on Monday night. So for them, it's a neutral matchup. And as far as Cleveland, obviously Cleveland going up against Detroit, which we know their front four is incredible. So I think I would still go Chase Brown here, even though it's been lackluster. I don't know if I would trade for him at like RB1 value, but if somebody was panicking on Chase Brown right now and I had a piece like a Trey Benson or somebody maybe that's overperformed like a Quinshon Judkins and the Chase Brown owner was like trying to pivot off of him, maybe I'd send some offers out for Chase Brown right now. But I think he's going to be more high-end RB2 than he is RB1 the rest of the way. That's about the value I trade for him. Also traded QJ for Pat Mahomes. I'm not mad at that deal as well. Like I think QJ, that whole Chargers receiving core is going to be so tough. I think Keenan's been the guy so far. We're going to see Ladd at some point. Quinn Johnston also has touchdown potential on a weekly basis. So Hurts, Chase Brown, Chase Lamb. I traded Brian Thomas, Mahomes, K9 for Chase. Jamar Chase, Hurts. Oh, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and Hurts. What do you think of the trade? Hurts for Mahomes, Brian Thomas for Jamar Chase, K9. I like this back half of this deal. But yeah, I think you'll be fine, man. It's one of those teams where you have the name value, you have the talent on this team. It's just about putting it all together. So I do like this new squad with Hurts, Chase. Even if Jamar Chase is 90% or 80% of what he was beforehand, I think this is a good deal for you. I like that deal straight up. And I think the team is solid. You need CeeDee Lamb to come back sooner than later here. Jason's been a stud. Yeah. So I think you're good right now. I think you're good. All right, let me try to get through a few more, man. I'm going a little slower than my typical pace. Traded Warren for BTJ. Good job Good job, Keaton. I have Jamar, BTJ, Marv, Jamo Worthy. Running backs are weak, though. You got Chase Brown, Mason, Henderson, Hunt. Trying to trade Chase Brown and Jamo for a better option. You might be able to snag Derrick Henry right now, just coming off of the fumbles, coming off of, we haven't seen that like week 1 performance that we saw from Derrick Henry. That's a name you may be able to get. I think getting Ashton Genty right now, especially with some of the negative stuff going on about him, at some point things are going to click for Genty, and when they do, you want to have a piece of that. So I think Genty is a player who was going a little too early in drafts. That's a lot of this stuff goes back to like ADP, right? When people are going to say on you missed. That's fine. A lot of this goes back to ADP and where people value players. So a guy like Ashton Genty right now is considered a miss just because he was drafted too high. So the same reason why we're considering Brian Thomas Jr. a fail and Marvin is a fail and these guys as fails is because we just drafted them a little bit too high. So when it comes to like an Ashton Genty, I think that is the type of player. If you're going to trade Chase Brown and JMO, get Ashton Genty in another piece. Go get Derrick Henry. Go get one of these names that maybe is slightly disappointed and everybody's a little down on. It's the easiest way to go get talent. Jay hope the move went well. Dale, appreciate you. 0-3. We got a lot of 0-3 here. This ain't good. We got a lot of 0-3 here. So, and I know, like I said, I know I'm not going to be at my best here over the next 2 weeks. So keep the questions coming in, guys, especially on the comments. I'm going to try to do my best to get some more of those this week. But yes, this is not a good thing. We can't be 0-3 here on the channel. But the thing is, I like a lot of these teams that I'm seeing. Even if they're 0-3, it's like you get another 2 wins here over the next couple of weeks. We're not feeling as bad. Going to start Mason in my flex, so I need to start 2 of these volatile receivers, Brian Thomas, Devontae Smith, Pearsall. Thanks, Goat. I got you. We're seeing Pearsall really kind of come into his own here. I think he is the safest option here and the must start out of the 3. And I think Brian Thomas is probably the other one here that I would start in the same game, Jacksonville playing the Niners. I think Devontae Smith is good. It's just this offense. It's so inconsistent, so run-heavy right now that we don't even know how to judge these receivers. I mean, there were A.J. Brown. We were talking about, do you start A.J. Brown before last week? So I'm sure Devontae Smith will get it going at some point here. But I think for sure I'm going BTJ and Pearsall. What do y'all think? Y'all agree with that? Y'all agree with that? Let me know if y'all agree with that. Let me know if y'all agree with that. All right. Losing Evans last week hurt. This team I got is brutal with injuries and luck, and then Brian Thomas just being asked to start off. Yeah. As far as Brian Thomas, I know that's a player that I thought had like huge ceiling, right? I talked about Randy Moss type ceiling early on, and we haven't seen it. We got, the rushing touchdown. We've seen the bad drops. Like this just hasn't looked like, and then this Jags offense, I don't think Trevor's looked bad. It just hasn't equated to like fantasy success. So I think in this case, I would still be somewhat optimistic about Brian Thomas. Just think of him more in your head as like a back end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. It's just time we have to reevaluate on some players until they show us something else. It's not like he's not getting the looks. So I think I'm not like there where I'm just he's been asked. Like you said, over the first 3 weeks, it's just been that kind of thing for Brian Thomas. But I'm not to the point yet where I'd be panicking on Brian Thomas. I think better days are ahead. Like he played with Trevor last year, still finished as a wide receiver 4, and was not great to start the year. He was kind of mediocre over the first 6-7 games or whatever it was. So I think when it comes to Brian Thomas, not really there yet where I want to panic. I think most players still, I'm not at a point yet where I'm like, oh my God, it's over for them. Let me just trade them for the low. Like I'm not quite there with most players yet. One player that's pissing me off, though, I ain't going to lie to y'all. One player that's pissing me off, Michael Penix. What do you think about the Falcon offense, bro? I thought it was going to be way better. I thought this Falcon offense was going to be way better, man. Very disappointing. Jay, and how you been, Clan Meister? I've been good. Been real good, actually. Like a lot of a big weight lifted off my shoulders. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever sold a house before, but if you have, it's a very stressful thing. Getting everything all dialed in, and then obviously with the move, packing and going to a different country, there's a lot of other layers that you guys don't always see behind the scenes. So in the midst of putting together fantasy football training camp, in the midst of getting together a draft guide, in the midst of putting together a new website, in the midst of doing weekly note sheets and daily shows and providing content, there has been a lot behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. But me, there's been a couple very big weights lifted off my shoulders. So trying to keep this thing all locked in for you guys and still get you guys incredible information. And I will continue to do so. But like I said, just over the next week or so of me traveling, it might be a little bit more inconsistent than in the past. What's good? Start two, BTJ, Dobbins, and Judkins. I still will go Dobbins here, he's playing an incredible level. I think he's a top 12 back right now. And then Brian Thomas, I'm still in on Brian Thomas. So even against this 49er defense, especially without Nick Bosa for the rest of the year, give me Brian Thomas in the start over Judkins. So I think Judkins is good, but going up against that Detroit Lions front, I would go with the other two options, Brian Thomas and Dobbins. Finnegan, what's good, my boy? What's good? It has been a minute, man. What up, Jay? I hope you're doing well in Superflex. Would you start Penix versus Washington or Wentz in an overseas game versus Pittsburgh as your quarterback? Two, the only other quarterbacks on waivers are Flacco and Spencer Rattler. So as much as I want to say just go with Michael Penix, I think better days are ahead. Until we see a stronger floor from Michael Penix, we got to start Carson Wentz. Like deadass, it's just it might be a miss on Michael Penix and just a little too much optimism with him. I thought like top 15 Dak, Jordan Love type floor. It's not there. Like literally without that rushing touchdown in the first game, we'd be talking about Michael Penix being one of the biggest busts, even at like a back end QB2 rate. Like he just hasn't been good enough to start, let alone like roster damn near. So I think Penix might just end up being a miss here this early part of the year, and maybe they need like their guys to get healthy. And Drake London has to get healthy. Darnell Mooney had to get healthy. They're missing some guys on the offensive line, and I just didn't factor that in enough, personally. So I think in super flex, I would go with Wentz here. He looked like the better play, even going up against the Steeler defense. But the Steeler defense has been kind of soft. Like we've seen them be beatable in multiple ways that I didn't think was possible. So I would go Wentz. All right, I saw supers come in. I'm gonna go through those really quickly. Hurts. I saw this one. Okay, so we're here. Thoughts on Thornton? Any news on Worth, Yams, Godwin? Thoughts on? Oh my Lord, you're the only one answering questions. What do you mean I'm the only one answering questions? Nobody else is answering questions on other sites. Thoughts on Thornton? Any news on Thornton? Are you talking about Deontay Thornton or Tyquan Thornton? I'm assuming you're talking about Tyquan Thornton. I think Tyquan Thornton is going to be good, but Worthy's back now, so Worthy's expected to be full. I think he fully participated. Worthy was a full participant in today's practice. I think he was trending towards coming back last week. They gave him another week. I think Worthy comes back this year. No official update. He was a full participant. I think he plays this week, but I'm not a doctor. And then thoughts on Admano. I don't even know who you're talking about. Are you talking about DeMarcado for the Cardinals, or are you talking about A.O. Manor from Tennessee? Maybe I don't know who Admano is. If this is a player, I don't know who it is. But if it's Amari DeMarcado, I think this is a good secondary piece in case they do a ride the hot hand type thing. Trey Benson, obviously, with James Conner going out, is the pickup. And that's the player I think he directly replaces James Conner. So if you're thinking like James Conner high-end RB2, I think that's what Trey Benson is for the rest of the year. Maybe he has even more upside, but I do think Amari DeMarcado does get some work in and is a piece of this offense. I don't know that he's valuable enough to start yet, but think of kind of like Trey Benson. Like Trey Benson had a flex type appeal some weeks. I think that's what it is with DeMarcado, especially he is the pass catcher on the team as well. He is a pass catcher, I should say, on the team. So hopefully that answered all of your questions. And am I really the only one answering questions right now? Is it like that? Is it that hard right now I get it, because right now you got to eat a lot of crow as a fantasy creator. Like I'm coming on the show right now. You got to eat a lot of crow right now because there's been a lot of misses. And I would say we got a lot of things wrong ranking-wise, fantasy community, and I would say you could have found ways to win with like Carson Wentz and with Marcus Mariota and, drafting a Trey Tucker who has 4 touchdowns over the first couple of weeks and is a top 12 receiver. Like there hasn't a lot of the stronger performances we're not seeing out of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And you kind of needed to get like real lucky, even at tight end, like George Kittle's been out and Mark Andrews is asked. Kelsey's been asked. A lot of these like top end picks in the top 7 to 8 rounds, there's been a lot of misses, like just dead ass, a lot of misses, a lot of players we were optimistic about. So the rest of the season has to play out, whether it's with rookies, with your studs. That's why I say it's just week 3, and I wouldn't overly panic because there's a lot of value that's been found like in the back end of the draft so far. Like there was week 2 where we had so many touchdowns and like 30% of them were for players that just did not have any relevance, like none. So like you're seeing, I don't know if you guys are all seeing the same thing I am, but when it comes to fantasy this year, I think it's been a little, we say this a lot, but it's been an awkward year. It just has. So don't be so hard on, like, if you're like, damn, my team sucks, I'm 0-3. Like, it's been a very difficult year, I would say. Like, the players that we're used to seeing have not always been at the top. They're not. And even players that we have a lot of optimism in, they're not playing well. Or we've seen, one good week and 2 bad weeks from a lot of players. So don't be so hard on yourselves. And yeah, hopefully I'm not the only one answering questions, like you said. Sourdoughs on the Orton and Godwin. Thoughts on Thornton? I'm assuming you meant thoughts on Thornton and Godwin. So hopefully that answered the Tyquan Thornton stuff. He's been great downfield for the Chiefs, but if Worthy comes back and in a couple of weeks you got Rice, I'm not overly optimistic about keeping him long term. Short term, I'm good with Tyquan Thornton though. So I think Thornton this week, especially with Worthy getting back up to speed, they need him in this offense, obviously. I have too many RB2s and want to upgrade my team. Who would you trade away out of K9 with no Charbonnet? Charbonnet's out. With Dobbins, Trey Benson, Tootin, who would you target? For me, I would probably trade away Bayshal Tootin, who's in the most, like, he is in a complimentary role right now. Unless the team just decides to trade Travis Etienne, he's in a complimentary role right now. He's seen the touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, which has made his value go good, but I also think that's a good sell high point until he becomes a starter. Right now, Trey Benson's a starter, Dobbins a starter, K9's a starter. You can treat Tootin as somebody else would treat him as a starter. You can trade him as a backup and get a better RB4. So if I pair them together, pair up Tootin, pair up Dobbins as well, because Dobbins obviously pass catching chops. And at some point, RJ Harvey's going to earn some more work. He hasn't been able to do it lately, but at some point he's going to earn more work. So I think trading away like Dobbins and Tootin could probably get you a rock solid, like high-end RB2, back-end RB1. Maybe try like Alvin Kamara. You might be able to get Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown, something like that. Shit, you might be able to do better than that. Thoughts on Godwin, Thornton, any news on Worthy? Okay, hopefully I was able to answer that. Like I said, Godwin to me, I didn't talk about Godwin enough. Godwin will probably step into a role here very soon. I know he's targeting early October as his return date. Week 6, I guess this is supposedly when he's trying to come back. So maybe he comes back a little bit sooner. I don't have any intel on when he's coming back. I haven't done enough homework on that, just to be honest and clear with you guys. But I think there will be a ramp-up period with Godwin anyway. The good thing for him, unfortunate for Tampa Bay and for our fantasy teams, is that Mike Evans is probably going to be out as well. But the good thing for Godwin is that the team is going to need to lean on him almost immediately. So Sterling Shepard probably steps into a nice role this week. But as far as Godwin himself, I would anticipate like a slower ramp-up period. Probably not seeing the old Godwin or even like wide receiver 3 Godwin for a couple weeks out. So I think Godwin's a good hold, not great hold. If you are 3-0, 2-1, yes, keep holding Godwin. If I was 1-2 or 0-3, I'd be looking to sell the name Godwin before he actually returned to the field. Yeah, and I think Godwin just has a lot to prove coming off of the injury. And I think this Tampa Bay team is going to need him. Tristan Wirfs should be back after his IR stint, so hopefully the protection's better. But they will need him. Like, they're going to need him with Mike out, especially Mike probably going to be out around 3 weeks. So if Godwin can get on the field a little earlier than that, and then the way the Ibuka has been playing as well, like he's been playing at a high level, I think that will only help this offense be able to move the chains a little bit quicker. So Godwin, I'm in on. Sorry, the guy from the Texans, I just don't like autocorrect. You need autocorrect. If there's somebody need autocorrect, Tyler, it's you right now. But yes, I think A.O. Manor, I think he's a good like wide receiver 3 flex. I wouldn't anticipate too much. And it's, kind of seeing Calvin Ridley struggle this much and Cam Ward struggle right now. They all got to get better as an offense. It's probably going to be a low-level offense throughout the year, unfortunately. Probably won't see much return on this Titans offense until the second half. So I think Tajay Spears is supposed to come back here in the next couple weeks. Cam Ward, I'm sure, is going to get better. They've had a couple tough matchups already. So for me, A.O. Manor, I think he's kind of a touchdown-dependent, so to speak, touchdown-dependent flex right now. What's good, Jan? Glad that weight is lifted off. Yes, appreciate you, Jose. Yeah, lost CD and Connor last week. Stuck with Pacheco in any random receiver I can find. Listen, there's a ton of random receivers right now. Hopefully, you're able to pick somebody up off of waivers. But think like Jalen Tolbert from Dallas with CD out for a couple weeks. Sterling Shepard. You're gonna have to make some crazy pickups here with receivers. Unfortunately, I would say, the one thing is if you can somehow move CD, if you're 0-3, hopefully you got some wins, but if you're 0-3, if you can move CD, just make sure you get back pieces that can help you right now. I would say that. If not, weather the storm, baby. That's what we do in fantasy. You got to weather the storm sometimes. I'm 1-2. Should I trade Bucky Evans, Worthy for Mason, Nico, Ridley? Mason will be my running back too. I have Bijan as well. So with Aaron Jones, remember, Aaron Jones is only out. He's just on IR. It's not like he's out for the rest of the season. So I know a lot of people are happy about Jordan Mason. I am too. I think Jordan Mason is going to be incredible through the year. Just remember, Aaron Jones is probably going to be back at some point. Bucky, Mason, Nico Evans, Worthy. So you get rid of a few injured pieces. You get some healthy pieces in Nico and Ridley. I think this is a good move for you. Get Nico. Nico should be better. That Texans offense has been bad. But I think you'll be fine with that deal with Mason as your two. And it beats up your receiving core. Ridley's been kind of mid. Only thing is Evans will be back. This deal does have backfire potential, I think, later in the year. But right now, if you're trying to secure some wins, this isn't bad. Hopefully Ridley's better at some point. Hopefully he's better at some point, man. Listen, appreciate y'all here for the first time, man. And those who have come back. And like I said, I'm trying to get to as many questions as I can. The Supers coming in. I want to make sure I'm able to answer those. I won't be doing the game-by-game stuff. But if you have start-sit questions, I'm going to go rapid fire through the questions here at some point. Trying to stay live a little bit longer today as well. I got to fire up TikTok here in just a minute. 2-1 thoughts on my team. My flex is my weakest position. You got Goff, Burrow, Gibbs, Henry, JSN, DK Hawkinson, Chubb. Who could I acquire for flex? Even like TJ Hawkinson, man. I'm glad he got a little bit of work last week. It was a tough hold on to him. Mark Andrews got a touchdown last week. Tough to hold on to him. Like, I could see a lot of 1-2 and 0-3 teams that have strong teams. It's just the record ain't playing out. But I'm glad you're 2-1 here. You got Goff, Burrow, Gibbs, Henry, JSN, DK, Hawk, Chubb. I think if I were you, Chubb would be a name because it looks like Woody Marks is probably going to take over some bigger work here. You might want to be able to, I think for you, if you could somehow find an upgrade at tight end, but what's really an upgrade at tight end over Hawkinson right now? Everybody, all the tight ends have been inconsistent. And then when it comes to like your running backs are solid, receivers are good, maybe a slight upgrade at receiver. I think Chubb would be the place. And depending on what your back end, your bench looks like, Burrow you're waiting on. I don't even know if Burrow comes back this year. I don't think you need to do too much here, bro. Even if your flex is weak, you're 2-1 for a reason. So maybe if the 3-0 team buys into Burrow, I just don't see a reason to. I think Burrow can be moved. To be honest, Burrow could probably be dropped. If you don't want to drop him or if you got an IR spot, I think Burrow could go very easily in a deal. Trey Tucker or Ridley at the flex this week. I'd probably just go Trey Tucker. He's looked involved the first, 2 out of the first 3 weeks. It's just when it comes to really how good is that team going to be, and that point total this week is only sitting at 38.5 for that Tennessee and Houston game. So probably a lower scoring game. I think Vegas in a matchup with Chicago, they're going to have to put up points. So give me Trey Tucker over Ridley. It's just Trey Tucker is not a sure thing himself. 3-0 got offered Barkley, Nico, and Marv for who? St. Brown and Kyron. That is the craziest thing. St. Brown and Kyron for Barkley, Nico, and Marv. I mean, I'd take that Barkley, Nico, Marv side all day. I would take that Barkley, Nico, Marv side all day. I love St. Brown and what he's doing right now, but I think that's a one-off deal right there. Barkley and St. Brown, that's pretty even. So you're doing Kyron for Nico and Marv. Like, for me, that Barkley, Nico, Marv side is heavy, much heavier than that St. Brown, Kyron side. BTJ for Rome. I have BTJ. I think it's a pretty even deal at this point. Like, I talked about Rome, but obviously not enough this offseason. I talked about him. It clearly was not enough. Rome is one of those guys. So he's a top 10 to 15 receiver me the rest of the way. Has obviously opportunity to climb up even higher, but Rome is one of those guys. I think Brian Thomas, though, man, he's in that same range. So this to me feels like a preference deal, and you're losing out on some of the value if Brian Thomas does have one of those games. Oh, lost the AirPod. We back. But if Brian Thomas does have one of those games, like clearly to me, he would be the pick. Like, he's been a top 4 guy before. So hopefully the audio is good. Let me know if the audio is off. But I think for me, I'd still rather have Brian Thomas just for the upside, especially if he does catch 100 in a TD. That changes things now. Whereas Rome, I think we kind of know Rome stepped into like this high-end wide receiver 2, back-end wide receiver 1 value. All right, back to the questions, y'all. Back to the questions. Hopefully, I was able to catch up on the supers. Let me get back to the member stuff here real quick. So don't think, if you're 0-3, don't think it's the end of the world. If you're 1-2, don't think it's the end of the world. We have a lot of season left, all right? You go on a 5-game win streak, you're going to be feeling really good about yourself. A 4-game, a 3-game win streak. Like, chill on the panic, all right? I'm gonna try to cut some of this stuff up for you guys. I'm gonna get a couple other posts up here very soon. But yes, don't panic, y'all. Everybody's gonna be stressed out. Tell you to stress out. It's not that time yet. It's 3 weeks. And I know I be on the chill mode sometimes, but it really is like your season can look much different in a couple weeks. In a super flex, I think I answered. This is the last one to answer. All right, here we go. So sadly, my team sadly is not doing good. 0-3 in a 12-team half-point PPR league. What do I need to do to change this around? You got Dak, JT, Kamara, Mason, JCM, Tootin, Mixon, CD, Marv, Ladd, Coleman, A.O. Manor, Hawkinson. So you got a couple bad injuries with the stacking. This is the problem with stacking sometimes too. Unfortunately, sometimes the problem with stacking here, you got Dak and CD, which is both now a negative for your team, right? And you're already 0-3. I think running backs are fine with JT. JT's been carrying. How are you 0-3 with JT? JT and Kamara should be fine. Jordan Mason's good. JC. Okay, so for you, if I were in your shoes right now, I would be looking to move 2 of these running backs: Jordan Mason, JCM, Tootin, Kamara, something like that. Like I would be looking to move 2 of these running backs to upgrade your receivers because Marv has just been too inconsistent for you. Ladd has been too inconsistent, not good enough for you. Coleman has been inconsistent. CD's hurt. You got to get a receiver. So if you can straight up trade for. You might be able to pull off a Brian Thomas deal right now. You might be able to pull off some other – just think about some receivers that are out there. Nico Collins. I would be looking to go get another elite receiver. I don't know that T. Higgins falls in there, but I'd be looking to go get another elite receiver right now with your setup or just maybe even performing receiver right now. If you got to overpay a little bit more for a performer. So, but I think Mason could go. JCM could go. Tootin can go. I think right now – the Ladd might still have a little bit more value than you're thinking. So I think Marv, I honestly think in the trade market right now, somebody would value Ladd over Marv still for whatever reason. So I think you can still move some of these guys. You definitely got to get a receiver and then figure out your quarterback situation as well. I wouldn't trust Dak for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Once CD came back, you'd be fine. But if you could, or if you can try to move CD, just make sure it's worth it. If you trade CD Lamb, you're 0-3 and you trade CD Lamb, do not trade him at a discount. I don't know how else to say that. You trade him, but do not trade him for a discount. And whatever deal you make, it better be able to get you 2 wins out of the next 3 weeks. Like it has to. So when it comes to trading right now, like especially with a player like CD Lamb, these aren't, this is a fair deal. When you have the best player in the deal, you should be asking for more than the player is worth, even if they're injured, okay? When you have the best player in the deal. Depth for studs is good, but the studs is how the championship teams are won, right? So when you go to make a move for CeeDee Lamb, you should be looking for another piece that is similar, but maybe at a lower value, and then also an upside option. So if I had CeeDee Lamb, in your situation, I would be looking, okay, how can I get Nico Collins and T. Higgins? How can I get Chase Brown and a Brian Thomas Jr.? I'm trading him for players that I know are still stars. At least one of them is still a star, but maybe just lesser trade value right now. That's how I'm approaching this, and I think you have to. So when I'm trading CeeDee Lamb, I'm trading CeeDee Lamb for I'm not going down the ladder. I'm not going to get Travis Etienne and I'm trying to think of some names. Sorry, I'm trying to think of some names, y'all. I'm not going for Jacoby Myers and Travis Etienne. I'm not going for Emeka Buka straight. I'm not going for Cortland Sutton and those aren't the deals I'm doing. I'm going okay, how do I get BTJ in another piece? How do I get Nico Collins in another piece? How do I shore up my tight end spot? I don't know if you can this year. Tight end is a graveyard yet again. There's just a bunch of random ass performances yet again from tight end. But I'm looking at how do I upgrade my team maybe taking a hit at some perceived value. That's what I'm doing with CeeDee Lamb. So if you're going to trade CeeDee Lamb, that's the way to do it. 2 offers out there. Trade away Mason Coleman for Hampton. I trade away Marv and Tootin for – I'm not trading Marv for Sutton and Ertz. And then Mason and Coleman for Hampton. All right. Thoughts on Marion Hampton really quickly. So obviously with Najee Harris – you hate to see it. Achilles injury, out for the year. Could be even one of those career type things for Najee. I hope it's not. Obviously, I've been a big Najee guy on this channel, but it hasn't ever been I think Najee's this elite back. He's just been productive, and we kind of saw that in the game. But what this injury did is now it changes Omarion Hampton's value. This is the value that everybody wanted him to be. I think he's a top 15 guy moving forward, and we got to put him there, especially if he's getting the receiving work that he got in that game. I don't know that it happens again. I would want to see it for a couple weeks, but I would feel very good about Omarion Hampton being like a top 12-ish type option the rest of the way. For sure, I think top 15. So if you were in on Omarion, and perfect timing there, my boy Trey right underneath, Omarion Hampton season, it's one of those things where Omarion Hampton, it is time now for Omarion Hampton. And so if you have him, he's got to get better though too. He really does. Like, he looked apart this last weekend, but I want to see him consistently be there now that he knows the role is his. And, there was the offseason talk that, like, multiple backs will be involved. I don't know that we see that without it being Najee Harris. So I think if you got Hampton, be excited. Mason and Coleman, I'd probably just do the Hampton deal, not the Marv deal. Yes. Guess I want our bet already. We ain't make an injury clause. I know, man. You did. You won it. You won it, bro. We did not make an injury clause. Damn. But Najee, bro, was I right though, Trey? Was I right about Najee? He was going to be more involved. It's unfortunately for Najee, fortunately for Hampton, it's a dub for him. Traded Adams, Kamara, Genty, Hampton, Henderson last week. Thoughts? Adams and Kamara for Genty, Hampton, Henderson. I think he did great. I think he did great for the upside. 3 running backs. Obviously, Kamara is probably like Hampton-ish level right now. And then Adams for Genty and Henderson. You get a ton of upside moving forward. I think you did good here. And especially last week, you cashed in on the value. I think last week I might have been like, ugh. Especially seeing what Devontae's looking like right now in this Rams offense. And I think Kamara is probably going to be a little more RB2-ish than I initially thought. But I think it's a good deal, especially upside-wise. Kamara Hampton's probably pretty even. You maybe Hampton over Kamara right now. And then Henderson, Genty for Adams. I think that's an easy dub. Appreciate everybody who's became a member here over the show. I'm trying to get through as many questions as I can. I don't know how much time I have live today. I also have some other obligations I have, but I'm going to try to get through as much as I can. I was just going to go live on TikTok. I don't even know if I'm going to do that right now. Actually, I'm going to do that for the subs right now. Let me do that for the subs. Y'all said is that true? I'm the only one answering questions, bro? Is that on YouTube or on anywhere? Let me just get rid of the background for now. No background here. Like, I feel like fantasy, I don't know. I'm not going to dive into that right now. Because I haven't been on answering questions myself, so I can't say nothing. And then make sure this is sub only. Trey Tucker, the receiver from Tennessee, because of Worthy's back. Thornton takes a big hit. Yes, I think for sure I would go. I think A.M. Manor probably has more upside on a weekly basis than upgrade new band. What is this? Superfan. What is this, bro? What just happened, bro? It's been view Superfan. What is this, bro? I haven't been live for like a week. And then Superfan only chat. What is this? Is this the same thing or what? Your badge name has been approved. What the fuck just happened? What just happened? All right, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't know what just happened. So hopefully TikTok just switched it up on me. Superfan, what the fuck is this, bro? It changed up on me? Damn, I've been live for a week and this shit changed up on me. All right, but I'll keep going through the questions here. My bad. I got a little sidetracked. I was trying to figure that shit out. Yes, I think I would rather have Manor over the course of the year because as Cam Ward gets better, he's going to continue to get better. He's in a starting spot. Whereas Trey Tucker, once Genty gets kicked up a little bit, Brock Bowers gets fully healthy. Remember, he was dealing with the injury. Once he gets fully healthy, you also got Jacoby Myers on that team. He's like the 4th weapon on that offense. I think Tucker's an interesting play right now, just while he has a little bit, you know what I'm saying? He's got the touchdowns right now. He's more of a trade for me than he is a start right now. So I would definitely go with A.O. Manor full time, like longer term. Tucker probably short term. 0-3 half-point PPR. You got Caleb, Kamara, Chase Brown, Pacheco, Nico, London, Franklin, Hawk, and Ben. Should I make moves and who to target? So I think right now in a 14-team league, Chase Brown is probably a name it's hard with Chase Brown and Pacheco right now for you. Nico's been lackluster. Drake London's been up and down. I think you got to make a move here, but your team it's not like your team is terrible. It's not like this team is terrible, especially in 14-team league. I think you've had a lot of bad luck. So you don't really have the sad part is, Shelly, I hate to say this, you just don't have a lot of tradable assets. Like, you trade Chase Brown for what? The floor right now? You trade Nico Collins for the floor right now? You just probably have an underperforming team. So I don't know that I would probably play this one. I would like wait a week. You don't really have a name that I'm just like, I could go get a lot for that right now. I would kind of wait a week. Maybe Troy Franklin, you can move. I don't know. Because I don't really think Troy Franklin has standalone value for the whole season. But yeah, I might just hold this team for another week and just see what it looks like. See what it looks like. Thornton or Hunter this week in full PPR. I go Travis Hunter. It's tough for me to recommend Travis Hunter, but over Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton probably. It's just I keep wanting to say Travis Hunter, bro. Like even last week, I think they get him dialed in at some point. It's just, man, it's tough to rely on him right now. Dimey Brown is out this week too, so I think Travis Hunter can bounce back, but it's a very risky play. Very risky. So Thornton if you're looking for safe, Hunter if you're looking for a little upside. And I don't even know that he has. Just go Thornton. Go Thornton this week. Thornton. Move Chase Brown for Brian Thomas. Pretty similar type move for me, in my opinion. Running back for receiver, both underperforming. I'd rather have BTJ. Appreciate y'all. Hey, I don't know. Let me know. Is this like, if there's any subs in here, can somebody comment? Because this shit just changed up for me. If there's anybody who subs, comment, please. I'm trying to see what happened here. It literally just changed up for me. So I want to make sure everybody's still able to comment. If you're a sub, if you paid sub, comment. Otherwise, I might have to change some shit up. If you're looking for me, I'm also on YouTube, JHan Fantasy. My background has changed for TikTok. I'm in Arizona. So let me know if you guys can comment. If you're a sub, let me know if you can comment. I'm trying to figure that part out real quick. All right, rapid fire. I've been saying rapid fire for the last fucking 45 minutes, and I have not rapid fired through anything yet. Do you still believe in Marv? Yes, I do. I still believe in Marv. Maybe not the top 10-ish type upside I hoped, but I think Marv as a player is going to get better and improve over the year. He's had opportunity, and we've seen the drop for him, the bad drop for him last week. The plays are going to come. He's too good of a player to just be bad, in my opinion. So I think if I could get Marv for the low right now, I would. And I still would do that for Brian Thomas, Marv. It's been 3 weeks. We've seen players get off to slow starts before, so. Like I said, if you're a subscriber, somebody please comment and let me know what's going on, man. If you can't comment, JN. All right, so Trey, you got in, bro. Is that as a mod or was that as a sub? That is something I need to know. Trey, I'm going to take I don't want to do that because I don't want to put you back. I'll figure that shit out. This man about to be live from another country. Yes, so the hours will also change too. So out there, time is also ahead like by 9 hours from the West Coast. So I'll probably be doing more shows around like earlier in the day. So if you've been used to watching me around like 3 in the afternoon, it's probably not going to happen as much. Probably going to be more so at like 1 in the afternoon Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. So, and I may not have as many lives. It might be more pre-recorded stuff that you see from me. I will have a live every week, though. I'll definitely be live every week just so I can answer questions like this. What are we doing with T. Higgins? He's a wide receiver 3 for me moving forward, like up and down. I think he's a high upside wide receiver 3 until we see a better connection with Jake Browning. This super fan thing is weird. I haven't dived too much into it yet. I know they're supposed to up the price and you can do more, but like it doesn't show my sub badge anymore. What the fuck? All right. Let me catch. Oh my God, I'm never going to catch up on here. Let me try to catch up more on YouTube, and I'm going to open this thing up for TikTok in a second. Anyways, just do this trade. Got JT. Oh, trade. This is your trade right here. JT and Garrett Wilson, Pollard, Addison. So lineup is now JD, Bijan, GT, ETN, Jason, Sutton, Ellick. This lineup's all right. I think. Oh, you got JT for Garrett Wilson. Good job, dude. Good job. Yeah, I like because your backs are fucking solid. You got upside quarterback, Jason, Sutton, Ellick. I think you're doing good. I would try to upgrade that wide receiver 3. Your wide receivers look like they could be in dire straits here very soon. Doesn't show my sub badge. Yeah, we got to figure that. I got to figure this sub thing out, bro. I'm going to open up the chat here in a minute. Damn, I'm opening up the chat here in a minute. Also not panicked on Jefferson, but like his ceiling seems capped. Yes, so I talked about Justin Jefferson. I think it was on one of the episodes I did with Tyler. I think he's more, he's got to be back in wide receiver 1 until we see McCarthy back. And even with McCarthy back, it might just be ugly for Jefferson in a way we've never seen with him before. What do you think of Trey WB? Like you talking about Trey the running back, Trey Benson? I'm assuming you meant. I think Trey Benson's a high-end RB2 moving forward. He does catch the rock, and one of the cool things about Trey Benson is that he's going to step into a role now where we know he's the guy. We don't really have to worry about it. DeMarcado will probably be in the backfield a little bit, and maybe they hot hand him a little bit, but for the most part, they'll use him in the red zone. He catches the football, and he can handle volume. That's really what you want to see out of your running backs. Can they handle the volume? Can they catch the football? Do they get the red zone looks? Full season ahead for Trey Benson. I'm good with him right now. High-end RB2, potential back-end RB1. Godwin's outlook. We need to see Godwin on the field. I got to see Godwin on the field before I put a certain label on him. Honestly, like I think he could be a wide receiver 3 for the teams moving forward. But if I was waiting on Godwin and I was 1-2 or 0-3, I'd probably look to ship him out. Just being real. Rank these guys: Rome, BTJ, London, and Nico. So all similar tier to me. They're back-end wide receiver 1s with upside, high-end wide receiver 2s with upside. For me, if I had to rank them right now, I'll go Nico. I would go London. I would go Rome, then BTJ. That's how I do it right now. Because I think the Atlanta offense bounces back. I think Nico is just a stud in general. I think Rome is on the ascension, but the reason why we all love Rome is because we got him. He's the wide receiver 3 out of this group. So I bet you most fantasy creators, most people in their mind are probably going to put Rome ahead of all 3 of these guys because he's been playing the best. He scored touchdowns in all 3 games he has a touchdown. So I think he is playing like an elite level wide receiver 1. I think it's easy to forget about these other guys because they've had slow starts. So what I'm understanding is it's going to be a weird like transition from subs to superfan stuff. TikTok always fucking with our shit, bro. Over the next 3 months, god damn it. All right, I'll figure it out. Either way, like I said, I'll just unlock the chat here in a second. But yeah, that's what I got. I think those 4 receivers are going to be very tough. They're in a very similar tier because they all have upside. And I think the floor right now is safest for Rome. I think the floor is the weakest right now for BTJ. And I think the offenses aren't clicking the way we thought for Drake London and for Nico Collins. But I still wouldn't devalue any of these guys into really like, I know I said wide receiver 2, but I don't think I would treat any of these players as wide receiver 2s. They're all wide receiver 1 capable. Rome is probably the safest one right now. Probably doesn't carry the same upside as a Nico Collins does, as a BTJ does. But I wouldn't be really concerned about, like, I know people are going to panic and maybe BTJ does his dirty all year. Maybe he's really like a wide receiver 3 and a wide receiver 1 draft spot. Maybe Nico does his dirty and he's more of a wide receiver 2. Maybe Drake London and this Atlanta offense just isn't good. But I'm not there yet. I think this is 3 weeks of football. Like, it's no reason to panic. There have been guys with slow starts, and I could see all 4 of these guys being top 12 receivers when it's all said and done. So I wouldn't treat them as anything less. How do you feel about the Commanders' backfield? Good, very good question here. Commanders' backfield, it's ugly. And we got Bill. Obviously, Bill is the one to have in this offense. But you also got Chris Rodriguez, who led the team in carries last week. And you had Jeremy McNichols, who had the long touchdown last week. So I think this could be an ugly carousel. And none of them really profile as more than like an RB3 to me. I think Bill Krosky-Merritt's the one I would want to have. He would be like a back-end RB2, high-end RB3 for me on a weekly basis. Chris Rodriguez seems like potentially a volume guy some weeks and then a distant third in other weeks. Jeremy McNichols seems like he might have a pass-catching role against some teams, probably non-existent on other weeks. So Krosky-Merritt's been the one who's been able to get touchdowns, secure the red zone work. They all kind of feel like they're this ugly committee. I think he has the path to like probably most fantasy value. Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols, maybe they have some one-off weeks. Maybe one of them sees a score, some pass-catching work. I'm kind of out on the other 2. I think Bill is the one I'd want to have, and just keep it at that. He's an RB3 for me. Would you trade Pearsall, Tyler Warren for Jaden Daniels and Chase Brown? Pearsall and Warren in a Superflex league, 100%. Non-Superflex league, I don't know that I'd want to give up Tyler Warren right now. Just saying. I think Tyler Warren's the kind of player I don't know that I would want to, like, abandon. And I like getting Chase Brown. You already got Daniel Jones. But you already have Daniel Jones. You don't really need – like, Daniel Jones is probably better than you think. Rest of the season, he's a high-end QB2, back-end QB1. Like, I think he's more high-end QB2 than how he's been playing. But I don't think you really need to make that move for Jaden Daniels, who's banged up right now. And you already got Brock Bowers. So I guess you're trying to get rid of Tyler Warren, get another back. I'm not mad at this move. So you'd have Jaden Daniels, Bijan, Chase Brown, Bucky. You'd have a solid 3 running backs. And then you still have Bowers. I'm not mad at the deal. You might be able to do better, though. I know it's bogus. I like my dark red badge where I've been subbed for 2. I know, bro. What the fuck is going on, bro? That's crazy. So you're the only one who can comment right now, even though because it's sub only right now. Starting September 15th. Okay, try to choose an upgrade in your superfans and enjoy 6 new benefits. View superfan. All right. Superfan only chat. What the fuck is going on, bro? All right. Yeah, I'm just going to go. I'll figure that shit out another time. So you're still sub, but it's not treating you like a sub? Yo, it is hot. Jay Gabe, what's good, bro? What's good? Okay, so it worked for you, but I think you're a mod too, right? So the mods is working, but for everybody else, it's not. I'm a mod and can comment, but subs can't comment. This is wild, bro. I'm scared to like open this up because I'm not. Okay, Tanner, CL. Okay, cool. I can see Trey's badge. All right, bet. So at least it works then. Okay, bet. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you. Because I was about to just open this shit up and figure it out. But all right. Well, appreciate y'all. CL, Tanner, appreciate you guys. If y'all got questions too, go ahead and throw them in here. I picked up Geno to start this week over Dak. Geno's best available. I'm not mad at that. Geno, I don't trust Geno fully, but I think he's just a good consolation if you're struggling at quarterback. Miss you, J-Han. Hope everything was well during your move. Diego, appreciate you, homie. Yeah, everything is, like I said, everything is up for J-Han right now. It's just a little busier than I wanted to be right now, but it'll be worth it. Like I said, I'm going to be try to do some lives from like some cool places overseas. If you guys have recommendations too, would love to see y'all recommendations on things. So what up, Jay? Excited to see the stream. Yes, sir. Are there any buy high candidates? I never buy high. So I almost never buy high, just being honest. Like I think the one, like if I had to say there's a player that I like that I still think has room to grow, it's like Rome, but I think you got to pay for Rome now. Like that would have been a buy high guy for me maybe like a week or 2 ago. But you got to kind of pay right now for Rome. All right, CD for Drake. Other team has him on the bench. CD Lamb for Drake London. That's Drake London and another piece. Yes, for Drake, but Drake and another piece. Like you gotta, just because it makes sense for your fantasy team, it also you don't want to give somebody else just clear extra value just because you're in panic mode. That other person will trade more with Drake London. You could do Drake London and another piece. I promise you. Jay just traded Chase Brown, Fannin. Godwin listed today as a full participant. So maybe Godwin's back this week. Full participant in practice today. Godwin, full participant in practice. A good sign for his availability this week. Traded Chase Brown, Fannin, and Addison for Lamar. Is that a wash or a win? I kind of think it's a wash. But Lamar is Lamar. It's just you don't have the pressure of like, is Chase Brown there? And I told y'all about Fannin. Like I thought that was kind of some smoke and mirrors, and it turns out it was. Maybe he has more value later on, but I think this kind of deal secures you at the quarterback position. I think you gave up a little bit too much, but like with the way to even Justin Jefferson and who knows what Jordan Addison's about to look like. Like Jordan Addison, we don't know that he's going to look the part. Like with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, we got to see what this offense looks like long term. So I think this is a decent move. You probably gave up a little too much, but to get Lamar, I'm not mad at you. How do you feel about trading AK for Hampton? I think it's a wash right now. I'd probably rather have the Hampton side now. So everything I talked about this offseason, how I thought Kamara was a better value than Hampton, I think it was right early on, but it's not time to be right, like about takes. I think now it's important to win your fantasy league. So it would be dumb of me to hold on to a take of AK over Hampton when now Hampton is in a much better position. Hampton has top 12 to 15-ish value to me the rest of the way. High-end RB1, high-end RB2, probably back-end RB1 on some weeks. So I think with the way that this offense moves, the fact that he was involved in the passing game over the weekend, you can't help but put Hampton there. I would rather have Hampton right now. I think seeing Alvin Kamara in this offense, there's going to be times where he probably does you dirty fantasy-wise, so I'd want to make sure I have a player in a better offense at a similar type of price point. Give me Hampton. Appreciate you. Appreciate you squadding up. Is Tracy a drop? I mean, he wasn't a hold. You can get rid of Tracy. The thing is, you can put him in your IR spot, though. You can put him in your IR spot. Just traded Waddle, Jordan Mason, and Judkins for Brian Thomas and Harvey. Waddle, Mason, Judkins. I think it's a pretty good move. I think Harvey, I'm not really buying. Like, I would have preferred to just keep Judkins instead of getting Harvey. I like Judkins more than I like Harvey. I think Harvey at some point will take over, but if JK is playing this way for the rest of the year, it's his spot. Deadass is his spot. So then Brian Thomas for Waddle and Mason. I think it's a pretty clean deal. I think it's a pretty clean deal overall. I think this is why you make trades, though. You got the heavy hitter in BTJ, the upside in Harvey if it hits. So I think this is a reason to trade. I would assume you probably have a better record. Start Monty, Swift, Javonte, or Kamara in Standard League. Monty, Swift, Javonte. And we're seeing David Montgomery. David Montgomery has looked crazy. I think in Standard, I probably would go with – I'd probably go D-Mon just because that workload he gets, man. They're using him in the red zone too, and they got that matchup against Cleveland. So chances are they're probably going to be up in that game. I'll go Monty in that one, play the touchdown upside. Half-point PBR trade, DK and RJ Harvey for Javonte and Pittman. I think this is a wash. This is a preference deal. I'd rather have DK than Pittman slightly, and I think I'd rather have Javonte than Harvey. So I don't think this is a clear, super win. I would have to look at, the bye weeks and then also what the rest of your team looks like. If you want a little bit more upside, the DK and Harvey side provides a little bit more upside. Pittman and Javonte just have a better floor team-wise. Tell LQ we need them IR spots. We're struggling. All right, I got you, bro. I got to hit his ass up too. Me and him haven't even done the show. We've been talking about it for weeks. Is Purdy okay for the rest of the season? I would assume he comes back this week. There was talks that he was going to be back last week. He didn't come back. So I would assume he comes back and it's probably decent the rest of the year. You know why I wouldn't be able to put claims in for the elimination players? No. Maybe you don't have enough bread? I don't know. I'll check that, Trey. I'll check that after the show. Let me get off the show and do that. International. Yes, we're going international with it, baby. International. If you see bro on the Spain game, listen, I got good seats. I got good seats. You might see me there at the Spain game. I got good seats, bro. Listen, I got good seats. Y'all might see me. I paid up though, bro. That's the most I ever paid for some damn seats, bro. Oh my God. I paid up, but I got good seats, bro. First, it's the first ever game in Spain, too. I'm going to do a whole episode just for that game, but it's the very first game ever. And you know what? I'm going to make it my goal to be seen. Y'all will see me on TV. I flew all the way from the United States. I flew 17 hours to go to the Spain game. I'm a diehard Commanders fan. I flew all the way to see Jaden Daniels. Watch, I'm going to have a sign, bro. Y'all already know. I'm going to go, hey, y'all going to see me on that screen, man. Would you just trade J-Mo and ETN for Hampton and Ridley? J-Mo and ETN for Hampton and Ridley. I think it's kind of a wash, too. I'd rather have J-Mo than Ridley. I'd rather have Hampton and ETN. Give me the Hampton and Ridley side slightly. London and Jacoby Myers, J-Mo, Devontae start two in Standard. Give me London and probably Devontae right now with the way he's playing. Any thoughts on Dart? Jackson Dart going to be starting this week. Obviously, Russell Wilson not giving the Giants what they want. I didn't think Russell's playing terrible until last week. Last week it looked bad. But I think Jackson Dart will provide more fantasy, kind of like JJ McCarthy. I think if I had to compare his value to somebody, I would think that Jackson Dart provides JJ McCarthy level upside and floor. Inconsistent, has decent weapons around him. Obviously, they use him in rushing packages, so he'll use his legs. I think Jackson Dart's probably going to be JJ McCarthy-ish in a good way and in a bad way. Fantasy Hoop is on the way. And I can't say anything yet. And then fantasy hockey, Tyler does fantasy hockey. So, should I move JJ and Pittman for Bijan? Jettas and Pittman for Bijan? I would do it. If you have the receivers to support it, why not? Jay, and the content is needed, bro. I'd be going through it in the Discord, helping people every day. Appreciate you, bro. It's just, I'm trying to do my best, man. I'm trying to do my best. So hopefully the website's been helping. I know it hasn't been perfect, but like I said, in a week, I'll be back to normal content. Yo, for anyone who has questions, come to the Discord. Everyone there is super helpful. It will take some of the burden off Jahan. Yeah, you guys can go to the Discord. Discord link is in the YouTube description. You guys can go there. A lot of help in there, man, because I can't answer everything, but yes. And Finnegan is trying to kill you some more. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate y'all for handling shit, man. I'm 0-3. Also have Drake London, Kamara, and Brees. I'm not overly worried about it. Brees could end up getting traded. Had a couple bad weeks with Brees. Same thing with Drake London. How'd you lose week 1? Kamara scored. London had a decent game, and Brees had a decent game. How'd you lose week 1? My other receivers in that league got traded. JT, I got Diggs, Burden, Thornton, but they ain't mentioned them. No one exciting. I thought Diggs was going to be nice. All right, yeah. You got some – you got rough receivers right there, bro. I need a QB. I picked up Purdy. Should I pick up Dart as well? I would rather have Purdy than Dart still. Rather have Purdy than Dart. Would you start Pittman over BTJ this week? Colts got the Rams and BTJ up against the Niners. I still I don't know. I think with Bosa out, it's going to change the Niner defense. I think until Brian Thomas shows you can go Pittman, I probably would still start Brian Thomas, though. If you're asking me, I'm still starting Brian Thomas. And it depends on your record, too. If you need a win, maybe you just go more so with Pittman. What's a valid CD trade? Garrett Wilson comes to mind. I think Garrett Wilson and another player. You have to be able CD's out for 3 weeks. He's not out for the rest of the season. It's not like it's 6 weeks. So even if you're 0-3, think about it. Could you find a 10-point replacement? Are you losing by 30 points a week or are you losing by 5? You're losing by 10. I think Garrett Wilson is good, but then once CD comes back week 6 or week 7, you're going to be like, shit, why did I do that deal? I think Garrett Wilson is a good piece, but you need to get a better piece along with that. Either a better piece or get a secondary piece, with that. In the flex, Javonte, Jacoby Myers, J-Mo, Kamara, and standard Swift. Javonte, Jacoby, J-Mo, Kamara. In the flex, assuming one of these guys, Javonte sticks out to me. J-Mo sticks out as an upside play. Probably Javonte, J-Mo, or Kamara. I think Javonte for the floor, J-Mo for the upside. Kamara probably a bench. Jason and Sutton been balling for me. Ellick been nice for me. 3-0. 3-0 is great. Stream froze. Yes. Sorry, I'm going through them right now. I'm going through them. I did get to that one right there. Best buy low candidates. I'll have some buy low guys later, but obviously BTJ, Drake London, Marv, a lot of those guys I still like at the cost. So there's nobody at the top of drafts that I am completely out on now. Or T. Higgins is the one player I think I'm ooh, that could get ugly for him with Jake Browning if he's not good. Justin Jefferson, another player, I'm ooh, I got to lower him a little bit more. There's nobody else really at the top that I'm just I've completely shifted my tone on. Jason, what's good, bro? What's good, my dog? Chris Rodriguez for Ollie Gordon. I'd rather have Ollie Gordon. That's a low-level trade for me. Honestly, it's a low-level. I would rather have Ollie Gordon. I don't think that deal really moves the needle either way, but give me Ollie Gordon over Chris Rodriguez. Thoughts if I should make a move? I'm 0-3. Got Kyler Fields, Kamara Cook, BTJ London, Hawkinson. Craft Neighbors. I don't really see a move for you here. This is a good team. Neighbors at the flex. Maybe you could level up. Quarterback's been kind of probably ugly for you as far as consistent. Maybe you can go get a better quarterback. Use Ridley or K9 to do that. You have a deep-ass team, so I would try to level up the quarterback. Tight ends are good. You've probably been starting the wrong ones on the wrong weeks. Probably did Hawkinson early, and then when he messed up, Tucker Craft, you put him in last week, and Hawkinson went better. So I think for this team, this looks like a strong team for me. If this is a 12 team, this is a crazy team. I don't know how you're 0-3, but if it's 10 team, I think I would be looking to up the quarterback play using some of those back-end options you have on your bench. Trade or hold Ibuka? I think, it depends on where you can get. It depends on where you can get. If I offer Lamar in a trade, what value should I get? Never had a top fantasy QB. Make sure you get I would say if you're thinking round-wise value, try to get a top 5 round value for Lamar. Just keep Lamar. There's no point. If you have Caleb, trade Caleb instead. London, nice. Some members have become inactive. You can let them know they're able to reactivate their member badge and member benefits by sending a heart me to your live if they like your content. The fuck are you doing? TikTok, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? So you have to like the live? What the fuck? It's a heartbeat, bro. What the man? They always try to make shit so complicated. Ibuka and ETN for Drake London. I would say that's the right value. It's a little heavy. I think with the Ibuka, you could probably do way more damage once he plays this weekend. So I don't know that I would do that deal, but Drake London might solidify his value this week as well. I think that's heavy for Drake London. That would be like normal Drake London price. I think to do that deal right now with the way Drake London's been playing, with the way Ibuka's been playing, is playing the game the wrong way. But if you're in a savvy league, you might have to do that kind of deal. All right, Lost Lamb, 3 receivers, 2 flex. You got Drake, Ridley, Javante. Should I make some – or JMO. Should I make some – so those are your 3 receivers. Should I make some – I think those are 3 good receivers. They're just not great. You know, I think you're fine. Sometimes it's waiting it out through – you got to thug it out through this ugly time, man. You got to thug it out sometimes. Gino, a good QB to stream this week or stick with Penix? I think – shit. You might have to go Gino over Penix this week, man. Penix got to show me something, bro. Penix got to show me something, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Penix got to show me something. I'm kind of disappointed with it. I think going up against Washington, you have an opportunity to do it, but Penix got to show me something. Penix got to show me something. J-Han trading Mason for AJ seems pretty even so far. Yes, good job. I think getting AJ Brown here, that was a smart move for you. Seems like a lot of the draft picks in the top half of the draft, like first 4 rounds, aren't performing to their draft grade. Exactly. It's not. It definitely isn't just a you thing or just, you know, a one-off thing. Like there's a lot of top picks that aren't performing. You think Gino, Quinshon for Daniel Jones and DeAndre Swift is good? My starting QB is Gino and Quinshon for Daniel Jones and DeAndre Swift. Yeah. This is a low-level difference. I'd rather have the Daniel Jones and DeAndre Swift side. That's the side I'd rather have. If no McMillan start, Renfro, Ao Manor, or Olave. Ted McMillan dealing with the injury too. That's crazy, bro. There's a lot going on right now. I probably start Olave. Damn, bro. I know the questions are coming in, guys. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. More questions than I thought would be in here, and there's a lot. I would say I think the overall sense that I'm getting right now from just watching the questions that are coming in is that there's a lot of insecurity about team status right now. And I would say, you know, back to the comment that was just posted, it's like they're having a lot of top performers that are struggling. But the good thing about football is that over the course of the season, things play out typically how we suggested, right? Like a lot of times, even when it's dire for players, we see by the end of the year, things look up for those guys, or they'll find a way to recoup a lot of that lost value. Like I said, I'm going to keep going back to it. Last year, Bijan Robinson was looked at as a massive disappointment over the first 6 weeks of the year. And then after that, we had an incredible second half of Bijan. Brian Thomas last year was not like this top 5 receiver. By the end, we were talking about him as like top 5 guy. So don't overreact to this stuff, man. And I know it's tough because we want to get wins and, you know, we want to make the fantasy playoffs. But I would say, like, as somebody who's played a lot of fantasy football, there's a strong correlation with like top picks and bouncing back after bad weeks. Like not everybody has, you know, a Puka Nacua season where you start off the season strong and you go 17 weeks. Last year, you know, we had Derrick Henry was going crazy to start the year. He kind of fell off towards the second half, like at the very end of the season in fantasy playoffs, kind of had like a lackluster second half. When you think about a lot of the strong players, even to start the year last year, those weren't always the same players that had strong finishes. So I get the concern and I understand, but we do have a long season. If I was 0-3, you find a way to win 2 out of your next 3. If you're 1-2 and 2-1, count your blessings. Like that's a good thing right now to be in that position to at least have 1 win in your docket. And if you're 3-0, it's not time to start thinking about fantasy playoffs. It's how do I get to 8 wins? How do I get to 9 wins? And then you can start to pivot. So I think for now, just I wouldn't be too excited, too down. Like, it's still very early in the fantasy year. All right. That would be my biggest takeaway from like seeing your guys' comments and kind of hearing the tone right now. Are you going to release the rankings this week? Would you go Dak or Geno this week? My goal is to get the rankings out. I don't want to promise them. Like I said, I wish I could be. That's why I'm gonna make the whole J-Hand fantasy site free. I got to make some changes at least for the next couple weeks. The season will be free. The fantasy stuff will be on J-Hand fantasy. I'm not going to do any more paid stuff. Even the bets, I'm going to leave them free. So for right now, just until I can get myself dialed in a little bit more, I just want to get you guys content. I don't want to focus on like being overseas and then not being able to provide what I said. So it'll be free. It just be inconsistent. So rankings, I don't know if I get to those this week. I don't want to commit to them. My goal is to get them to you tonight or before tomorrow if I can. Okay. Week 6 and on, you will have rankings weekly. Worst part about selling houses is the visits and constantly having to clean your house. My wife was holding down the fort, man. So very thankful for her. She did a lot of that while I was, doing these streams and stuff. And that's why some of the streams were at awkward times or like, I wasn't able to be as, I don't know. But when it came, yes, we were selling and we listed our house in May and didn't sell until we listed our house in the end of May and didn't sell until September is when we finally got under contract. So yes, it was a long, strenuous process. ETJ, Emeka, BTJ, Pearsall, sit BTJ. BTJ, you have the luxury of being able to sit BTJ. BTJ Hall, Javonte, MPJ, sit one. Pittman, Javonte Hall. I mean, you can sit Brian Thomas. There's no issue with you sitting Brian Thomas right now. Is Otten to pick up to stream? Yes, because think about it. Cade Otten, right? Cade Otten is the player that can become now a safety valve for Baker Mayfield with Mike being out. So Cade Otten definitely a streamer at tight end. Thoughts on Mixon? I think we have until week 6. If you need an IR spot, it's okay to drop Mixon. I think he will be, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and a lot of the fantasy doctors out there have a lot of concerns about him being available throughout the course of this year. So I think if you need to pivot from Mixon, go ahead. And if you took him in the 7th, 8th round, that's why you did that, just because you knew you were playing with fire. Like you had the upside, but it was a floor. It didn't work in their favor right now. It's fine. But I think week 6 would be the ultimate timeline. There's no update on Mixon. So 4 weeks is the IR stint. They said that he would be evaluated after 4 weeks, which is this week is the last week. Once he's reevaluated, we'll have answers. But in my opinion, the reason I say week 6 is because in week 5, the Texans play and they have a bye in week 6. So I think the earliest we would see Joe Mixon is week 7. That's the earliest I think we would see him. I don't think they would bring him in for next week if he's even available. I think worst case scenario is they're like, oh, Mixon's still not anywhere where you need to be. And at that point, you could drop him for sure. I think if you've been holding him this long, maybe waiting until after week 4. But if you needed the spot, I don't think it's the worst move in the world to drop him. Is Wan'Dale startable with Dart now? I don't know. That would still I'm still not in on Wan'Dale. It's like a weekly starter. He's a flex to me. Hey, Jay, been busy as fuck. Yeah, good shit. You got 5-1 in your dynasty with the median 1-2, 1-2. Got the dub in each winless league last week. Felt good. Thanks for the content. Got you. I'm glad you're getting some dubs, bro. I'm glad you're getting some dubs. Damn, I went way longer than I thought I was going to, man. How about for Barkley? What was that for Barkley? I missed the question for Barkley. Oh, Abuka and ETN for Barkley? That's a good deal. I think that's the level I would do. Chase Brown and ETN for Barkley, I would get Saquon. Purdy and Geno this week, I go Purdy, but depends on if he plays. Abuka for Keenan and Trey Benson. I think it's a pretty clean deal, depth for stuff. I think it's a pretty clean deal. Murray, AJB, Kittle, Hurts, Nico. Is that a fair deal? I could stream for Murray and AJB, Kittle for Hurts and Nico. I think it's a pretty clean deal. I'd rather have the Murray, Kittle, and AJ Brown side, though. But I think that's a pretty clean deal. What should I do with Mason and Benson? With Mason and Benson, if you're looking if you have them both on your bench, trade up. Go get a fallen stud. I don't know Chase Brown. Chase Brown is difficult to me because I kind of think he's Jordan Mason, and Trey Benson-ish. But if I could get like a Derrick Henry with that combo, that's what I would do. Or I would be looking like Derrick Henry, Saquon, like see where people, Devon H. I don't know what you can get right now, but I'd be looking at like that RB1 range with Benson and Mason because both of those guys have RB2 appeal on a weekly basis. So if I was going to move them, I'd be trying to up myself in the tier. I traded Lamar for Baker and Josh Jacobs. Not bad if you needed a running back. I get why you would do that, and I think that's a solid move. Honestly, I think that's a solid move. I think you got more than enough for Lamar. I have T-Law, no tight end. Rashad White starting, James Cook, Nico, BTJ. Was offered K9 and Ibuka for JSN or Chuba and Andrews for Nico. Take either one. I think if I was struggling right now, I probably would do that K9 and Ibuka deal for JSN. That feels about right, especially with JSN's strong start to the year. I think you could probably do more for JSN, though, to be honest. But that's if I was going to take one of these deals, it'd be the Ibuka K9 side. That Chuba Andrews deal for Nico, I don't like that one. I don't like that at all. I would do that. The JSN one would be the one I do. I would be looking for a little bit more, though. All right. RBs or JT, ETN, Dobbins, Connor. Would you trade AJ and Marvin for Saquon? AJ and Marvin for Saquon. AJ and Marvin for Saquon. You have JT, ETN, Dobbins? No, I wouldn't do that deal. That's too much for Saquon. That's too much. 0-3, I point. You got Caleb. Oh, I answered this one for you. Just out Godwin fully practices. Yes, saw it. Godwin came in. So I think if he can get on the field the whole week, full practice all week, we might see him this weekend, probably on a snap count. Would be my guess on a snap count. Dak for Olave, a good deal. I think that's a pretty clean deal. I'd probably still rather have Dak. Hold Lamb if I'm 1 and 2. Team isn't performing. Yeah, BTJ, Tyreek, and Ibuka. I would just hold Lamb. 1 and 2 is not a death sentence. 0 and 3, I'd be a little bit more panicky, but I think you're fine with 1 and 2. Who would you leave out of the lineup? Am Manor, Troy Franklin, Tolbert, or ETN? Tolbert, let Tolbert show you. Let Tolbert show you. Dak or Geno? This week, I'd probably still go Dak. Cowboys got Green Bay on Sunday night, and then Vegas got Chicago. Chicago, that game could be a shootout, though. I probably still like Dak a little bit more, though. But that Green Bay defense is now – oh, that's the revenge game. That's the Michael Parsons revenge game, too. Go Geno. I'll go Geno this week. I'll probably still go Dak. I'll go Dak still. I'll still go Dak. I'll still go Dak over Geno. Yeah, Rashad White and Tune as your RB2s. Do I get Kenneth Walker and Ibuka for JSN? I don't mind that deal. That was the same deal you were talking. I think I would do the JSN deal. I think if it's rough, if you're like 0 and 3 and you're just like panicking, if you're 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 though, you must have a strong team. So I get getting the K-Dub and the Ibuka side. I don't like the Andrews and Chuba deal at all. 16-man league, you got Lamar, Bijan, Warren, CD. You made a lot of trades. 3-0. Congratulations, bro. Congratulations. Hey, active is the way to win. Everybody thinks draft's the way to win. This is a very clear sign. It's not just how you draft. It's how you manage your team. A lot of you guys are going to be fine. I know a lot of you guys are 1 and 2, 3, 0 and 3, panicking right now. A lot of you guys will be fine. Just trust me. Would you trade for a wide receiver, Cooper? Without CD Lamb, you got Rice and Ayuk on the way. I think you're good. You're 3-0. There's no need to panic. I think maybe you do like Warren ETN if you could get a receiver, but I wouldn't be overly worried. And you'll have CD back in a couple weeks, especially 3-0. You're good. TikTok changed their sub things. It's like $11 a month now, and they did where you can do more stuff with subs. Trey, I might have to talk with you, bro, because I don't know how this shit works, bro. I saw it change on the 15th, but I got to figure it out still. Marv or Keenan this week, I probably still go Marv. I know it's tough to say, but I still go Marv. Hate to see the value right now. Would you trade Ladd and Pollard for Tet and Jalen Warren? I'm in need of a reliable running back. I would be looking elsewhere. This deal doesn't feel like you're winning. Even getting Jalen Warren is fine, but I don't feel like this deal, especially Tet banged up right now too. I don't even know if he's playing this week. I don't like this deal for you. It's not bad. I think you could do better. Thoughts on Drake London? He'll bounce back. Drake London will bounce back. Pittman or Waddle over BTJ? If you're in need of a win, you got to get the floor plays. Pittman is for sure a floor play over BTJ right now. I think he'll bounce back though. But what tier would you put Brees and ETN in right now? Mid tier RB2, both mid RB2s. What's up, Jahan? I think I messed up. Traded Ladd, London for Pickens, Land. I'm assuming you mean Ladd, McConkey, London for Pickens, Pearsall, and Wilson. Is that Garrett Wilson? Yeah, I don't think I like that deal for you, Teddy. Just being honest, I don't like that deal for you. That's what it is. Ladd and London for Pickens, Pearsall, and Wilson. If you needed some wins now, it's not terrible, but I don't love that deal. How does the CD injury change Pickens' value? Pickens goes up to a mid-tier to high-end wide receiver 2. I think he'll be force-fed. We didn't get to see a whole lot of it last week, but I think over the next 3 weeks, you get that upgrade for Pickens. Hopefully, it helps the connection with him and Dak. They get on the same page. But I think moving forward, Pickens probably a mid-tier to high-end wide receiver 2 right now. Doesn't directly replace CeeDee Lamb. Probably more high-end wide receiver 2. I would say Ferguson's value is the one I'd be looking at increasing the most. I think Jake Ferguson becomes like a mid-tier to back-end tight end 1 until CD gets back. I got Chase Brown, Brees, ETN, trade 2 of them to upgrade. I'm good with that. All of them are kind of similar tier to me right now, that RB2-ish range. Got to know start 2, Benson, Kamara, Sutton. For me, I would go Kamara, Sutton. I think Benson's right there too, but I still go Kamara, Sutton until we get to see what the Benson DeMarcado thing looks like. I think Trey Benson's a good start, but Kamara, Sutton for me right now. Penix or Geno this week? I'll go Geno over Penix. I'm just not trusting Penix till we see better. And then thoughts on Mixon? I talked about Mixon. I think Mixon is kind of a wait and see until we get the update after week 4 if you've held him this long already. Finnegan, it's good, bro. I'll be able to knock it down. I got some help on the back end as well, so it's just a lot to manage. I don't know if I can directly give out anything to you right now, but I appreciate you asking for the help. So, and all, I love y'all. I love y'all community-wise because you guys support me through thick and thin, man, and you guys always got my back. So I appreciate you, but I'm going to get things dialed in. Like I said, give me about a week. I know it's a bad time too. Like we're 0-3 or 0-3 or 4 weeks in. It's going to be a bad time, but trust me, I got you guys locked in, and I'm gonna try to make things. You guys always know I try to make things right where I can, and I don't think I'm messing up by any means, but to the standard that I want to be at, I just don't have the time to dedicate to that. So I will get you guys as much info as I can over the next week, and then hopefully by week 6 we are like locked in, good to go. A little bit more consistently, I would say. But I will get as much info over to you as I can. I'll have an episode with Tyler out tomorrow. So I'll be doing some content with Tyler again. So we'll do some – me and him probably go over some players that we've disagreed on here early. And hopefully this is beneficial. Answer a lot of questions here on the stream. So for me, guys, I got to get out of here. I do have some things. I saw a couple supers come in. I got to make sure to get that. Andrew, I didn't see it, but I appreciate the love, man. I'm going to get out of here for right now. I will see you guys very soon. Not sure when that's going to be. For sure tomorrow we'll have the pre-recorded stuff with Tyler. And then, like I said, I will probably try to do another live here on Friday if I can. If not, you will see me for sure on Sunday morning to go over starts and sits and more content on the J-Hand Fantasy site. So appreciate you guys for supporting and rocking with me. Like I said, major moves on my end as far as traveling, being overseas. And I'll try to get more live if I can. I'll sneak another live in if I can here tomorrow or Friday. But appreciate y'all rocking with me. I will see you guys very soon. Peace out.